What's good, everybody? Welcome back to Real Fan Sports. I'm in the building with Nonpfixion. He drinking that moonshine. What's good, Non?
What's good? What's good? No moonshine there, brother. No moonshine there.
That's
This
that. That's
field be
that.
all kind of crazy.
The agua. But it is officially coming up to Week 8 in the NFL.
Yes,
We're
sir.
at the just about halfway mark, man, and there has been some surprising wins and some surprising losses so far. The biggest one came this past week. I mean, we've seen some of the best teams just not show up, and particularly the Vikings beating the Niners. So, are we going to see some more? Are we going to see some more craziness this week? Is the big question, man. I hope we do.
We might, who knows? The Rams could knock off Dallas. That'd be interesting.
That very well could be it. But let's go ahead and let's get started with these predictions. As always, guys, make sure y'all hit that subscribe button. Let us know in the comments what y'all think of our predictions. First up, we have the Buccaneers versus the Bills, who also lost last week. What do we think about this game? Two teams coming off a loss. Bucks losing to the Falcons, and then Bills losing. What do you think of this one?
This one is it's interesting. It's two teams that actually have played, one not as good as we thought it was going to be, and the other much better than what we assumed it to be. Buffalo, even though they're 4-3, we didn't expect them to play and look how they've been looking. Tampa Bay 3-3. We expect them to have way less impressive start to the season, but it's been the opposite. So, as far as picking who I think should win, I believe the Buffalo Bills should win this game.
Yeah.
Again, like last week, I wouldn't be surprised if Baker Mayfield and the Bucks came out and threw that rock down their throat. To be honest with you,
it'll be something, man. I mean, we're gonna be live during this game. It's definitely gonna be one that's fun to watch. I mean, it's just you don't know what you're gonna get right now. I mean, I didn't expect the Bills to lose more than 5 games this season, and they're already at 3 losses, sitting at a 4-3 record. I think they win this game. I don't think they're gonna have back-to-back bad games, but really they haven't had any great games in recent weeks, So
I think they win too. I agree.
I'm gonna go Buffalo Bills. That'll bring us up to the next one on Sunday, which will be the LA Rams versus the Dallas Cowboys. There's some rumors going around the Cowboys possibly could be going after somebody in the running back market. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes. It's the last week before the deadline. So I'm definitely excited to see what changes happen. But Rams versus Cowboys. Cowboys 4-2, Rams 3-4. Who you got?
Cowboys coming off a bye week. I'm hoping that not only that they're rested, but they have a new state of mind, and they come to the field with a different presence about them, a different feeling about them, because they're too talented at multiple positions to play the way they've been playing. And yes, they're at 4-2, but they shouldn't be at 4-2. They should be one of the upper echelon teams that's like 5-2, or 5-1, or even undefeated.
Undefeated.
They should be better than what they're playing like. And the Rams have outplayed what they should be playing. Puka Nacua, like Zach, I know Zach's talked about him several times in streams, has looked great in this season. And now that they have cutback and they're sharing the ball evenly, it's a great combination of skill players for the Rams. I'll go Dallas. I'll go Dallas.
Yeah. That's what I'm thinking too. Coming off the bye, I'm going to go ahead and rock with Dallas as well. It's in Arlington at AT&T Stadium. So, this is a win that the Cowboys definitely need just to get themselves back together. There's definitely been some chemistry issues between, the offense and the defense right now. So, I like to see a lot of those things get fixed and go out and win a good game, not a simple one. The Rams have been one of those sneaky teams where you just don't know what you're going to get from them. I think the injuries to their running backs has definitely hurt them. So without having Williams, I think until like week 13 is going to be painful. But I got Cowboys winning this one.
I'm with you, sir.
Then we'll come up to a divisional game between the Vikings and the Packers, two teams that were fighting for the division for quite some time. Vikings kind of hit their stride last week. I don't know if it's just a bluff or if it's the real deal, but they did look good. Kirk Cousins actually looked good. They only had 1 turnover, which I think is the best they've had all season, going against a very struggling Packers team. What do you got?
Kirk Cousins, the man right here, as Mystical would say. Kirk Cousins, he finally won that big game
Prime
in
time,
prime
Kurt.
time. Finally won it. Now he can really say, "You like that?" He can say it and really mean it. I expect the Vikings to continue on their stride they have right now. I continue to win this game. Jordan Love, he still has a lot to learn, even though he's a starter. He was behind some great players to learn the game, but he still has more to go, more to learn. And there's nothing wrong with that. I think he has a bright future, but I think that this game coming up is all Vikings.
Yeah, I actually think it's funny that the line is even here. Does Las Vegas know something that I don't? Because I think this should be a pretty simple win for the Vikings after having a great one against San Fran this past week. I think the Vikings take it. I know the Vikings are dealing with injuries with Justin Jefferson and such, but Addison has showed out and has overachieved what his rookie expectations were. And then the Packers, I mean, they're dealing with injuries at all levels of the game right now, and it's definitely upsetting. I know we have some Packers fans that are like, "I'm ready to switch teams," and we're like, "Oh, calm down. You don't mean that," but I understand the pain.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go Vikings as well. That'll bring us up to Falcons versus Titans. Falcons sitting at 4-3 on top of the NFC South. And they're going against the Titan squad who are looking to trade away Derrick Henry more than likely. There have been some adjustments to their cap and how they move their money, making it more and more likely that he's going to get dealt somewhere. Won't happen this week, I don't think, but it'll be interesting to see how it plays for the future. But as far as this game goes, what do we think with these two?
Well, with these two, I first want to say Tennessee Titans ownership and administration. Why get rid of Henry when you can get rid of Tannehill? Solve the problem. Get rid of Tannehill. We know he is the issue. He is the main issue. Yeah. Get rid of him, please.
The problem is that Henry has somewhat value and Tannehill has next to none. Falcons are going to win this game, man. I just don't. The Titans, again, have had just random games where they play great, but, not just are they shopping Derrick Henry, they're also shopping D-Hop too. So it's like crazy. They're just totally going into a rebuild. They're getting rid of anything that is going good on this team. They already got rid of Byard to Philadelphia. So they're just going into complete rebuild mode right now.
You get a Titan. I'm questionable as far as Bijan Robinson, who's actually questionable for this upcoming week. We still don't know why he was held out most of the game, and they finally played him in the fourth quarter. It was rumored that he was sick, but no, there was no other word about that. So that's a question mark. But I do feel like with the other part of the running back room, that the Falcons should be able to still successfully beat this team.
Yeah, and the Falcons are going to be in some trouble with the NFL too, because you have to relay those things that's going on, and they did not do the such. And it's not just with fantasy football; it's how the other team's game plan. It's part of the ethics of the game that you're supposed to, make the other opposing team notice of who's hurt, who's not hurt, and whatnot. Yeah. So it'll be interesting how that goes down. But I think even without Bijan, I think the Falcons have a good chance. It'll be closer. It'll be closer without him, but I still think Falcons grab the win here. There's no hope in Tennessee right now.
No, not really. Yeah,
they need to go hit the boulevard, man. Get some music going, get some vibes up. I don't know. That'll bring us up to the New Orleans Saints versus the Indianapolis Colts. Man, Gardner Minshew been looking nice. He still makes his stupid mistakes every now and then, but when he's slinging that thing, he slings it pretty well. They got their dual rushing attack with Moss and Jonathan Taylor going. Michael Pittman Jr. has been excellent so far this year. And then the Saints have just been struggling. I mean, there's been a lot of debates of who's at fault. Is it the quarterback? Is it the wide receivers? Is it the offensive coordinator? Is it all three? I think it's all three. And I think if you want to blame one, you're right at this point, because you could look at it either way and be like, something's wrong. So when we look at this game, it's going to be in Indianapolis. Who do you got?
This is a tough one because I do agree Pittman has had a pretty decent season, but he has had some complaints in the last couple of weeks that he doesn't understand if he's even part of the game planning. He even mentioned to the news that he doesn't feel like he's part of the game plan anymore.
Interesting.
But I do like Gardner Minshew, and I think Minshew has what most quarterbacks need is a short memory when it comes to turnovers and interceptions. He goes out there and returns a favor and throws a touchdown right in return. So
Very true.
as much as I like the Colts, I like the Colts. The Saints and the Saints defense. This one I want to say it's kind of a toss up. We don't know what's going to happen with Olave as well after his situation this past weekend. But I see the Saints should win this, but we've said that with several games, and several weeks,
doesn't happen.
And it doesn't happen. So I'm gonna just start off bad. I'm gonna ride with the Colts.
Okay. I'm going to go with the Saints on this one. I know the Olave thing is going to be interesting. He did get a speeding ticket going 35 over in a 35-mile-per-hour zone, which definitely isn't good. Was arrested, but in saying that, there's been 3 other cases this year where other players have done just as bad or worse and got no penalty from the NFL. So if the NFL decides to discriminate against Olave in this situation, we know it's just because they hate the Saints. And you know what? I'll say that as a homer. They hate us, and I know they do. I don't care. Roger Goodell, I'm talking to you. But I'm a rock with the Saints, man. I just need them to get it together. I mean, they had a great fourth quarter last week. You know, a couple of questionable plays right at the end there, per usual. But I think the Saints, they have talent. They just got to go out there and perform.
Yes.
That'll bring us to our next game between the New England Patriots and the Miami Dolphins. Patriots had a great game last week, man. Put it on him.
Mac Jones.
My
he
goodness.
looked like a whole different dude. I'm wondering if Belichick was even calling the plays that game.
I don't know who was calling the plays. Like, they might have outsourced it. Were they on the phone with Tom? Is that what's going on?
He was calling plays from Vegas, bro. But yeah, go ahead.
What do we think? Yeah, what do we think about this game, man?
I think Miami's going to rebound from what happened this past week from them going against Philly. If Mac Jones can continue what he did, it's going to be difficult for them, but I don't think it's going to be an easy road for the Patriots. I expect the Dolphins to win this game.
It's going to boil down to the fitness of the Patriots defense and how they can withstand this high tempo Dolphins offense. All these guys are so fast. I think they have 4 or 5. I think all 5 of the fastest times right now, or speeds in the NFL, is held by Dolphins players. So I don't know if the Patriots defense can hold on for that long. I don't know if we'll see Mac Jones put up a phenomenal performance like he did last week again, not in back-to-back games, but it's always possible. But I'm going Dolphins for the win.
Same here.
That'll bring up Jets and Giants. And you know what? Giants looked good last week, man. Tyrod Taylor was throwing that thing. Darren Waller was finally getting involved in the offense. It's almost like, you know, he was one of the best tight ends in the league for, quite some time. And it's like they forgot. But they're going against this Jets team who's been, really pounding it with Breece Hall. Zach Wilson has had some decent moments, very rare, but they've been competent. Yeah. What do you think of this game?
This one, I think, because like you said, Tyrod Taylor has looked pretty good in his service in the quarterback position. I wonder if the defense of the Jets will show up again. Will they show up again and make it difficult for the Giants? I want to say I think the Giants might win this one, but I mean, I think it's kind of a toss-up game to me, honestly.
Yeah, I feel like it is a toss-up game. The one big X factor is, we're finally seeing Breece Hall fully healthy again. We've seen it in a couple games, and he has looked good. And I think he's going to have a good game against the Giants. But in saying that, the one thing the Giants did so well last week was actually get the ball to multiple different receivers. They had a really good offensive scheme going into last week. They got, I think they had 6 receivers involved for a catch in the first quarter, which is something that we haven't seen with them in quite some time. So we'll see how it plays out. I'm going to go with the Jets, though.
Yeah, I'm with you right there.
Next up, we have Jags and Steelers. Jags at 5-2, Steelers at 4-2. It's going to take place in Pittsburgh at Acrisure Stadium. Jags coming off of a really good win against the New Orleans Saints team. They put up a lot of points, and that Saints defense is definitely none to joke about. They definitely took advantage of them on several drives where they were to score some touchdowns, where it made them look very, very average to below average.
Yeah, it did.
Can they do the same against the Steelers?
I think they can, because I think the Saints defense is actually better than the Steelers defense. The Steelers might have a better linebacker core and safety core, but I think overall the defense of the Saints is better than the defense of the Steelers. So if Trevor Lawrence can still, if he's totally fine, we do know he was kind of, he had an injury and they had him in a leg brace, which he's never worn, but he looked great with it on.
Yeah,
He
and he looked
ran,
mobile.
he
It was
picked up a lot of
surprising.
yards. Yeah, he looked very mobile with that brace on. So I expect them and ETN to continue doing what they're doing. I'm going for Jacksonville. Jacksonville with the W. They're going to 6-2.
Yeah, I'm going with Jacksonville as well. The Steelers' run game is what's hurting them the most. I mean, they're having to rely on Pickett so much, and then I feel like that's just the big fault. Najee is just not doing what everybody expected him to. It's been a very upsetting year. There's still rumors of whether or not he should be the number one running back on that squad or not. Steelers are sitting at 4-2, but I don't think they've played like a 4-2 team this year. I think the Jags are going to go ahead and continue the streak that they're on and grab another W, man. I think the Jaguars have finally figured it out. I think they have finally figured it out.
Whoever has Najee Harris in fantasy, drop him. Not worth it. Not worth the spot.
We'll have a divisional game up next between the Philadelphia Eagles and the Washington Commanders. Commanders had an upsetting loss. They had a chance to, I believe, tie it up or take the win. Dotson wasn't able to reel in the catch at the end and sent them home with the L. Eagles grab a big win against the Miami Dolphins team, which a lot of people thought they were going to struggle against. Now getting their new acquired Byard. What do we think about this game, man?
I was one of those people that thought this game against the Miami Dolphins was going to be a different game for them because they had so many players on the defensive side of the ball that was injured this past 2 weeks. But like you said, the addition of Byard from Tennessee Titans, they looked like there was no issue. And they not only beat them, they rolled over them. And that was we thought was one of the high-powered teams. But somebody in chat actually today brought up the fact that the teams that Miami beat are a combined 5-24 record. So that makes you think: is Miami a false messiah right now? Are they really that good, or just the team they beat just that bad? So doesn't say much for Philly, but Philly still is one of the best teams in the league. I think Philly is going to win this game. I like Sam, and I like what Commanders are doing and how they're building, but it's not their time yet. This is still Philly's time.
Yeah, they still have a lot of things going on, especially in their coaching staff. I mean, we're starting to see players come out more and more talking about how they're been here for 7 years and they just aren't winning and they're sick and tired of it. They don't like losing, and things just haven't seemed to change. I feel like they're in a better direction than what they've been in some time, but they still aren't there, and it could be because of coaching staff. I think the Eagles just overall are just a phenomenal team and are going to be able to carry this to an easy win. But one interesting thing that I believe it was Emmanuel Acho that said, the Eagles are 6-1, but Jalen Hurts still hasn't played exceptional yet. He's been very average so far this year. So we haven't even seen them at full force. Jalen Hurts, if he can get back to how he was playing last year, they can go back to running through this league again. They're going to need it to happen soon as we're hitting that halfway mark of the season, but it's definitely something to keep an eye out, but Eagles are grabbing the dub.
Yeah.
Next up, we have Texans and Panthers. Texans have been one of the exciting young teams in the league, facing a lesser exciting young team in the league in the Carolina Panthers. Still struggling, still trying to get their first win at 0-6. Texans sitting at 3-3. It will be at Bank of America Stadium in Charlotte, North Carolina, but I don't think that matters. I think the Texans are just going to be too much for the Panthers to handle.
I agree. I think Dameon Pierce is going to not only score his second, maybe possibly his third touchdown this game. C.J. Stroud's going to look really good. He's not going to hit the 2,000 yards just yet because he's still about 400 away, but he's going to be close to it. C.J. Stroud looks so good.
I'm going to say he hits it. He needs 340 yards. I say he hits it.
You think he's going to hit it?
I say he hits it this game, man. Let's C.J. Stroud just go crazy against the Panthers, man. Why not?
I mean, he's still 9 TDs to 1 interception, so I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that.
And that 1 interception, they didn't lose the ball because the Saints fumbled it as soon as they grabbed it. So you know what? It might say an interception, but you know what? It's a 0 for me, bro. Like, damn Saints.
I'm going with the Texans.
Yes, sir. That'll bring us up to the Browns and the Seahawks. I don't know. This is going to be an interesting game, because I mean the Browns have had some ugly wins, but some wins nonetheless. I don't know if Deshaun Watson's going to be back healthy or not, and it's been a lot of confusion with that whole situation just in general. Yeah. But the big thing is that Jerome Ford is injured right now, and I don't think we'll be playing with a sprained ankle. So that'll be something interesting to watch. Yeah. And then you have the Seahawks with Metcalf, who was out last week. You expect him to suit up since he was game time decision last week. But Jackson Smith-Njigba came out, the rookie, and scored a touchdown on the opening drive. So that was good for them. What do you have on this game?
Just kind of off the notes you were talking about when Deshaun Watson not playing, there was points where the Browns actually looked pretty good. They didn't look horrible on the offensive side of the ball. The team, they rallied around their backup quarterback, and they played a good, solid game, and that's when they beat the Niners. So, and Gino's still proving himself. He's still proving who he is because everybody talked about him being a perennial backup, but now he's a starter. He's trying to prove that he fits in that group too. I think that the defense of the Browns will be the determining factor of this game.
And that's every game they play.
yeah. Well, yeah, true, very true. But I don't know, man. I don't know if Deshaun Watson wants to even be playing right now. I want to say Browns, but I'm gonna pick Seattle.
Man, I don't want to keep picking the exact same thing as you, but I feel like Seattle too. I just think they're all around bought in. Whereas the Browns, I feel like defensively they're fully committed, but offensively, I think there's a lack of commitment around that whole squad right now. I mean, whether it's Elijah Moore's touches, Amari Cooper's touches, the injuries that's happening to the quarterbacks and now to the running backs, adding on top of it, even your second stringers getting hurt. I think the Seahawks are going to go ahead and pull out this win.
Yeah.
That'll bring us into another divisional game, Chiefs versus Broncos. Chiefs, after having a rough week 1 and then really not dominant a couple weeks after it, are looking back dominant again. I mean, they're doing it all. Patrick Mahomes, 2,000 yards, 15 touchdowns. Goodness. To 6 interception. Isaiah Pacheco averaging 4.19 yards per carry, 100 rushes. Has 3 touchdowns. He's doing great. Travis Kelce's in his bag. 48 catches, 525 yards, 4 tutties on top of it. They're looking like they're trying to go to another Super Bowl this year.
Oh, yeah, they're looking hungry. And plus, with Kelce, as long as Taylor Swift is in attendance, he's averaging 100 yards. As long as she's there, every time she's there, he averages 100 yards. And when she's not there, he's averaging 46.4. So y'all better hope Taylor Swift is there so he can have a good game.
I don't know if those watching have seen. I think Non's the one that sent it to me though. They had some meme video of it was like Travis double team, but he's like, oh, throw it to me. Taylor's watching. So stupid. But Chiefs are winning this one.
The Chiefs,
Yeah, Chiefs are winning this one. Even though Broncos did grab a win against the Packers last week.
Yeah, they're now 2-5,
Packers, man. 2-5. Look at that.
Them.
How inspirational. Ravens versus Cardinals. Cardinals still yet to get another victory after beating the Cowboys. They have had some, like I said, competent games, but they have injuries too now with the running back and stuff like that. And their team overall just isn't great. Baltimore's been dealing with some injuries, but Lamar Jackson is finally coming into his own this season. This is probably the best game he had so far this year last week. Yeah. You think the Ravens can continue this little streak they got going?
I think they definitely can, especially against this team. Like we said a couple weeks back, we think that this team is kind of hit their plateau where this is the best they're going to be for the season. And I definitely think that's where they're at. Hate to see it because Connor, love watching Connor play, but I mean if the team is not a complete team and can really compete, it sucks that you have skilled players who are very talented that can't show that their skills and abilities. But Lamar Jackson looked amazing this past week. The team as a whole looked great. They made Detroit look like they were a JV team. So
and they finally started catching the ball. Look at that.
Man, that was amazing. Let's see what happens when the ball actually goes in the hands and you grab it. That's amazing. I'm going with the Ravens.
Yeah, same. And then this will probably be one of the more exciting games of the week. The Bengals versus the 49ers. I mean, this was going to be a good game regardless, but now with the injuries with the 49ers, McCaffrey got his touchdown last week to keep his streak going, but had his worst week so far. I think he only had like 50 yards rushing, somewhere around there.
Brock
Brock Purdy finally starting to look like what a mystery relevant normally looks like. He's having some tough games, especially when they're down to the wire and he has to go out and win them. He hasn't quite got that in his bag yet. I still have hope that he'll be able to soon, but it's not there at this moment. And I think with that, it's going to be a tough run against this Bengals team who, are finally getting their stuff together. What do you think?
I kind of agree with what you're saying. And then in the last game for the Niners, they went away from Ayuk in the third and fourth quarter, which made no sense. He was very reliable in the game, and you just stopped throwing to him. There's another receiver they brought off the bench. That's what they started throwing to, and it's like because he's a rookie, the rookies they like to pick a specific receiver, and that's what they stick with. And that's what Brock Purdy did in the last part of the game, and it was very obvious. That's why he was able to be picked off pretty easy.
Yeah, some bad picks, man.
I hope he regathers himself and gets it back together because I still think he's a talented young quarterback, and like he's still young. He's only with this game 14 or 13 for him in his whole career. So I think the Niners defense, just like the Browns, is probably what's going to save them in this game. But I will say that the Bengals defense has actually kind of stepped up in the past couple games and looked pretty good.
Yeah, I'll say the same. You know what, dude? I think initially I wanted to say 49ers win this one, but I think I'm going to give this to the Bengals, man. I think I have the Bengals winning this one. It's going to be a fun game,
I can see it. I think it's going to be a tight game. Yeah.
I hope I have this one on TV because I definitely want to watch it. All right, that's going to go ahead and bring us to our Sunday night game. The Chicago Bears versus the Los Angeles Chargers, both with a very upsetting record. I don't think at the beginning of the season, I'd say I expected this record out of both teams. The Bears, a little bit. I just had hopes for them. But the Chargers, I didn't expect for them to be in this type of position. I mean, they lost big time against the Chiefs last week. The one thing that was mind-boggling to me was their lack of effort to get the ball to their skill maker or their playmaker in Keenan Allen. Like, I don't know why they stopped throwing him the ball. I know they got Eckler back, so they're getting him readjusted, getting him his touches, and getting him ramped up. But you took apart a big factor in your offense, especially against a high-scored team like the Chiefs. I don't understand why they did that. And then on the Bears side of the thing, it's actually pretty funny. I don't know if you've seen it. Y'all know my opinion on Claypool and how I don't think he's that good. I think he's very average to below average. Yeah. But they showed a little stat right now that Chase Claypool with the Bears was 0-4. The Bears without Chase Claypool 2-1. Miami Dolphins, the Miami Dolphins with Chase Claypool are 0-2. The Pittsburgh Steelers with Chase Claypool had a big time negative record. Without Chase Claypool, they're positive. I'm starting to see a denominator in this situation. But in this game, what do you got?
So what you're saying is Claypool is he's a negative on everybody's team. No matter where he's a negative. Yeah. Regardless if it's his fault or not, it just happens.
It just happens.
I assume Justin Fields will be back for this game. I know he was injured last game, and Bajent, the Division II backup, came in and played a hell of a game. He played great, and literally
I've seen some people saying that they want him to be a starter.
I will say this: watching him in that system, the way they have it, I understand why they picked him up. I understand why they picked him up because he fits that system. He doesn't look like he has wheels, but he actually has wheels. He has a great arm. He has the patience in the pocket. He trusts the pocket. It wasn't collapsing for him. So this could be building to a controversy if they allow him to play again.
I'll tell you what, I didn't get to watch the game, but I saw that report on him earlier today, and it was some ex-Bear player or ex-something associated with the Bears, and was saying how this wasn't the guy that they thought they needed, but might be the one that they truly do, and will be interesting, especially with their 2 first-round picks this year. If something were to happen to Justin Fields and he doesn't play and this dude continues to win, we could see some crazy trades happening at the end of this season. Oh my
Justin
goodness.
Fields to the Cardinals?
Man. But as far as this game goes, I'm going to go Chargers. I think the Chargers are the better team.
Justin Herbert has to rebound sometime, and I think this is the time for him to do it.
It has to be now, right?
He's been playing bad this entire season, and I mean, and he's been getting good numbers, but he's been playing bad, like overall, because they're not winning. I'm gonna go with Chargers, even though I think Bears might pull us out. I'm going with Chargers because I'm hoping a prayer that they pull out one.
Final game, Monday Night Football, which will be live here on Real Fan Sports. Make sure y'all come tune in. The Las Vegas Raiders versus the Detroit Lions. We got some Lions fans that come in our stream. We got Non here, obviously a Raiders fan. We're going to have some fun arguments in here, I'm sure, especially if the Raiders are winning. Man, it's going to be a hell of fun. What do we think about this game after the Lions having a really bad game against the Ravens last week and dropping a horrible loss? And then the Raiders, I mean, for me, a surprising 3-4 record. I mean, they've had other games that they even should have won, but did you expect them to be here at this point with how they performed, at least?
I honestly expect them to have like one other win or two other wins before this. Because looking at their schedule, I'm like, there's teams that they should have beaten, and then watching the games, those teams they should have beaten, they just didn't. But that's not all the players' fault. There's a lot of issues dealing with our play calling on defense and offense. They're not getting the ball to their stars. The line is not protecting for Jacobs to run. Even the backup Abdullah, he can't run. Like they're not breaking what they want to break to get things done. Garoppolo hasn't looked horrible, hasn't looked great, but hasn't looked horrible. And even when you watch their games, you see him and Adams on the sideline talking, and it's interesting that you could tell they're on the same page. But I feel like McDaniel's not on the same page with them. And I think it feels like both of them are talking about him. That's how it feels when they're staring at him. But I think Detroit Lions are looking to rebound from the big loss they had against the Ravens. And they have such a great group of players that
they mesh, man. They have great chemistry on that team. From head coach all the way down to the last person on the roster,
Yeah. I just don't know if I can see the defense of the Raiders controlling them enough to get the win. I do feel like, the D line may get some pressures. Crosby will get a sack or two in this game, but it'll probably be one of those games where Detroit will just have an explosion because they didn't have one the game before.
Yeah, so that's what I'm kind of thinking too. The Lions have turned out are a team now that are in the top of the NFC. I mean, they're sitting at 5-2. They have been playing some really good football other than last week. And I think they're going to go ahead and bounce back and have a really good game against this Raiders team. But you know what? We said the last time we watched the Raiders, I think it was the first time that they ever won that we streamed it. So maybe this is the year that they're undefeated when we're live for their game. So who knows? I'm going to go with Lions, though, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, I think that's the better pick. I mean, of course, as a Raiders fan, I would love to see them win, but just in being honest about it and not being like this a homer, I feel like Detroit's going to pull it out at the end.
Yeah, same. But that's going to be our predictions, guys. So make sure y'all let us know in the comments below what y'all think, what we got wrong, what we got right. We had a lot of the same guesses, so that probably means we're going to get a good bit wrong this week. So just the way it goes. There's going to be something crazy, there's no telling. But let us know in the comments, guys. Appreciate y'all for stopping by. Make sure y'all join us on Thursday night for our live stream of the first game, and then Monday, our live stream for Raiders and Lions. We'll catch y'all then. Cheers.
Peace out.